It gives us great honor at this time to welcome today's commencement speaker, Governor Mitt Romney. A giant in both business and political realms for more than 35 years, Mitt Romney has proven himself to be an ambitious and effective leader. His dedication to career, to family, and public service make him an exemplary role model for Trine University students today and the innumerable others he has reached through business and politics. Governor Romney started his career in business in 1978 as a vice president of Bain & Company Incorporated, a management consulting firm based in Boston. In 1984, he left Bain & Company to co-spin and found the private equity investment company Bain Capital, where he worked until 1998. He served as president and chief executive officer of the 2002 Winter Olympic Games in Salt Lake City and was credited with that event certainly with the success and the financial turnaround. He served as the 70th governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts from 2003 to 2007, during which time he led the state to budget surpluses and enacted sweeping health care reform. He was a candidate for the 2008 Republican presidential nomination and was the 2012 Republican candidate for the office of the President of the United States. Governor Romney rejoined the board of directors of Marriott International, where he had served from 1993 to 2002 and from 2002 to 2009 and 2012. He serves as chairman of the Solomon Capital Executive Partner Group. We are certainly very honored and privileged to welcome Governor Mitt Romney as Trine University's 2016 commencement speaker. Governor Romney.
Thank you, Dr. Brooks, and members of the Board of Trustees, and esteemed members of the faculty, and parents, veterans, mothers, and particularly congratulations to the class of 2016. Well done. Now, I'm humbled in your presence. The work that's gone into becoming graduates, the work of parents and sacrificing to help bring you here and give you this opportunity is inspiring, and it's an honor to be with you. I've been looking forward to speaking with you today. You might imagine that having run for president and having flown all over the country and giving a lot of speeches that I'd be tired of doing this, but that's not the truth. I've been looking forward to this because I enjoy speaking to young people at the beginning of their life journey, and second, because Republicans don't get a lot of opportunities to speak at graduations. And frankly, number three, because I'm happy to give any speech that isn't a concession speech. Now, speaking with you today reminds me of my own graduation. I was an English major. That means that I like to read and write. It also means I had no idea what I'd do for my career. The self-help guides I looked at told me that I was doomed because they said you had to have a clear goal in mind and then work tirelessly to achieve it. And that isn't how life has worked out for me. Almost nothing I've done in my life was planned in advance. I could hardly have predicted I'd ever get involved in politics. When I stepped up with my wife to the Republican convention in Massachusetts, I turned to her and I said, "Sweetheart, in your wildest dreams, did you see me running for governor of Massachusetts?" She said, "Mitt, you weren't in my wildest dreams." Actually, she didn't say that. That was a joke I paid for, but the sentiment's real. Now, the most remarkable of my life journeys was the one I've only recently completed, and that was running for president. And I was thankful, Dr. Brooks, you didn't mention that I lost. You know, back in 1984, when Walter Mondale got beaten by Ronald Reagan, he was asked why he thought he'd lost, and he said this, he said, "You know, all my life I'd wanted to run for president in the worst way, and that's just what I did." Now, given that my career did not follow a logical path, I'm not going to advise you on that career path for yourself, but I'm going to do one better, I think. I'm going to advise you on a path for success and happiness. I had a friend that I knew at my college at Brigham Young University named Steve Covey, and he wrote a book that's done pretty well. You may have heard of it. It's called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It has sold over 15 million copies. By my calculation, he probably makes like $10 per copy. That adds up to about $150 million. Not a bad start. Now, I'm going to charge you nothing, and I'm afraid it may be overpayment, but I'm going to borrow from Mr. Covey. My title of my remarks will be The 7 Habits of Highly Happy People. And I've drawn these 7 habits from what I've learned over some 50 years of my career, consulting for some years to people in various companies, then having the chance to lead large and small enterprises myself, serving as a missionary for my church, and then as a pastor for several congregations, and yes, serving and campaigning across my state and across the country. So habit number one, keep your friends. The faculty may not like having me say this, but the most valuable thing you may get from your years here at Trine University may be the friends that you made here. Now, I say that in part because I'm afraid you're going to forget a good portion of what you've learned in the classes. Some years ago, there was a comedian who called himself Father Guido Sarducci, and he proposed a college of his own. He said that he'd surveyed college graduates of 5 years past and tried to calculate exactly what it is they remembered, and his university would only teach you what people had remembered 5 years down the road. So, for instance, in his economics class, you needed to remember only 3 words: supply and demand. For his course in business, it was buy low, sell high. And for Spanish, it was como está usted, followed by muy bien. Needless to say, his curriculum didn't take 4 years. It was called the 5-Minute University, and it cost $20. It was a crowd pleaser for the parents. Now, unlike a lot of coursework that you're going to forget, you will remember the friends that you made here, and they can enrich your life. My close college and graduate school friends and I share milestones together. We celebrate accomplishments, and we mourn losses. We've helped each other in our careers. Some of my liberal friends even were kind enough to donate to my campaigns. Of course, when you walk away from here today, if you also walk away from your friends, you'll lose a great source of happiness. Make it a habit to stay connected, not just online, but in person. Second habit, make a family. Now, I don't expect everyone here to believe as I do that the Bible is inspired by God, but at least I hope you'll acknowledge that it represents a portion of the wisdom of the ages, and it was written by extraordinary thinkers and philosophers. So either way, I'd suggest that its counsel warrants serious attention. In the opening pages, Adam gives this direction: "Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh." The one flesh part we don't seem to have any trouble with. But the part about leaving mom and dad gets some people tripped up. Now, I'm surely not going to tell you when to tie the knot. You've got parents who'll do that for you. But I will tell you that marriage has been the single most rewarding portion of my life by far. Marriage involves passion, conflict, emotion, fear, hope, compromise, understanding. In short, it's living life to the fullest. Of course, some of you may choose to be single all your lives, and others may never find your soulmate, and I wouldn't suggest you settle. But for those who are thinking about marriage someday and who find a person they love, my witness is that it makes all the difference in the world. And then children. The Bible goes on with this advice: children are an heritage of the Lord, as arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man who hath his quiver full of them. Now, I'm not sure as having my 5 sons qualifies as a full quiver, but I can affirm that they have brought immeasurable happiness. And they expanded and enlarged my life in ways I could never have imagined. Ann and I were once invited to speak to students at the Harvard Business School about our choice of careers. I as a management consultant, and she as a full-time mom. She was reluctant, in part because the other 2 couples who'd been invited to speak also had the same topic, and both of the other women of those couples were high-powered bankers on Wall Street. In the class, the other couples went first, I followed, and Ann spoke last. She explained that while she expected to have a career outside the home in the future, she had chosen to be a full-time mom until her 5 kids were raised. She went on to explain that her job required more of her than she had ever imagined. She was a psychologist, tutor, counselor, scoutmaster, coach, nurse practitioner, nutritionist, budget director, and on and on. When she sat down, the class was silent for a while. Then they stood and gave her a standing ovation. I've come to believe that the true currency of life is the friends you have and the people you love. The coin of the realm buys very little at the bank of happiness. Habit 3, do your present job well. My dad was a classic American success story. He was born of American parents living in Mexico. He grew up dirt poor. He didn't graduate from college, but he became head of a big automobile company, a 3-term governor, and a member of the president's cabinet. I asked him what he thought I should do to be successful in my career, and those were the words he said: do your present job well. Don't complain and gripe. Don't try to just get by. Dig in. Learn everything you can. Learn everything about the business, its industry. Be worth more than you're being paid. Doing well at what you're actually doing not only opens your opportunities for promotion, it also opens your opportunities for new ideas and new enterprises. My friend Tom Stemberg worked in a grocery and drugstore chain. While doing his present job well, he noted that there were extraordinarily high margins being charged for paper and pencils and for pens and office supplies. And so ultimately, he started a company to sell those things at very reasonable prices. Today, we know his company as Staples, the office superstore. Habit number 4, don't swallow a hook. I've reeled in a fair share of fish. They bite the hook because it's disguised as something delicious. They can't escape the hook because of its sharp barb. There's a lesson in that for all of us. There are things that look good at first, but impale you and prevent escape, and they can ruin your happiness. Drugs make you stupid. Porn deadens your passion for true intimacy and has killed more marriages than I'd like to think of. Stay away from hooks, and if you've already swallowed one, do what it takes to get rid of it. Habit 5, take responsibility. When I was in venture capital, I hired a consultant to help us do a better job. He asked us whether we'd ever made a bad investment. Yes, of course, we said. A case in point was our investment in a roofing manufacturer. He asked why it failed. We explained that it was because the price of the aggregate that went into the roofing materials had gone up unexpectedly high. And then he said this: if you blame your failures on things you can't control, if you don't take responsibility for your failures, you're going to have a lot more of them. because successful people take responsibility, and that empowers them to correct their mistakes and to shape their own future. I guess it's natural to blame everybody and everything but ourselves for our mistakes. A struggling marriage is our spouse's fault. A missed promotion is the boss's fault. A bulging waistline is McDonald's fault. But blaming others prevents us from taking control and changing the outcome. Taking responsibility puts you in charge, puts you in control. Take responsibility, and that can guide you throughout your course of life. Habit 6, live for something larger than yourself. For most of your life to date, you've lived largely for you. Education has been an investment in you. Your parents sacrificed for you. Commencement should shift the focus of your life from you to something larger than you. Most people, by the way, have a hard time making that transition. Tom Monahan struggled to pay for college. He was born in Michigan, raised in a Catholic orphanage. He needed to earn money to pay for tuition and to pay for his room and board. So to do that, he borrowed money and bought a pizza shop for $200 near the University of Michigan where he was going to school. The shop did well, and he opened another pizza shop. Over the years, he developed hundreds of pizza stores. You know them today as Domino's. After college, Tom stayed pretty focused on himself. He bought the Detroit Tigers, won the World Series. He bought dozens of enormously expensive vintage automobiles. One Bugatti he bought cost him $8.4 million. He built a massive corporate headquarters to showcase his collections and to provide himself with an impressive suite of personal offices. And then one day, after reading from C.S. Lewis and the Bible, he realized something. He wasn't really happy. His life had been all about himself, about his money, his collections, his things. He sold the team. He sold the cars. And he moved out of the big office he had and put himself into a small nook that his secretary used to use. When I had the chance to meet Tom and we acquired Domino's from him, I handed him a check for over $1 billion. Tom turned around and gave almost every single dollar to Catholic charities and went on to found Ave Maria University in Florida. I asked him a few weeks ago what was the most rewarding part of his life: winning the World Series, building Domino's, or driving his Bugatti. You can guess the answer. Quote, "It wasn't the toys. I've had enough toys to know how important they aren't. It was giving back through the university." If you live your life exclusively for yourself, it'll be shallow and disappointing. Live for something greater, for your family, for your faith, for your country, for your university, or perhaps for some cause, social, political, or religious. With real purpose in your life, life is a great deal more fulfilling and will bring you a great deal more joy and happiness. And finally, habit 7. By the way, you can be thankful I chose Stephen Covey's 7 Habits as opposed to Steven Spielberg's 100-foot journey. But number 7, be careful what you wish for. A 60-year-old man and his wife of the same age were walking along a beach. They stumbled across the proverbial magic lamp in the sand. The genie appeared and asked the husband what he wished for. He answered, "A wife that's 30 years younger than me," whereupon he turned 90. Now, I don't know that there's anything wrong with hoping that you'll make a lot of money, or that you'll rise to the top of a corporate pyramid, or that you'll start a blockbuster company, or make some extraordinary invention, or have your research published and acclaimed. But what I do know is that if that is all your life is about, you probably won't find the success you seek. You won't be happy. And I've already mentioned some of the reasons why, but there's another reason I'd like you to hear. If success in your mind is one of those things, or one like it, you're more likely than not to fail. I know that sounds harsh, but I'm just acknowledging the odds. You see, there's a great deal of serendipity in human affairs. Startups get crushed by unexpected competition. Research hits a dead end. Investments wither in a market crash. Promotions lose their luster if your employer goes out of business. And yes, elections are lost for reasons you didn't imagine. If you define success in material, temporal terms, your success in great measure will depend upon serendipity or luck. Fortunately, the things I've spoken about in the first 6 habits don't rely on serendipity or luck. They depend on you. They're in your control. Your marriage, your children, your friendships, your service to God or your country, to your fellow men and women. In any one of these, you can achieve success on the basis of your own work, your own energy and determination. Choose these things to wish for, to work for, to live for, and you're virtually guaranteed of success and fulfillment. So family, friends, a purpose greater than yourself, ambitions with meaning. Choose this course and your life can be fulfilling and happy. Choose this course and the fabric of our society is strengthened, and that's desperately needed today. We live in tumultuous times. Demagogues on the right and the left draw upon our darker angels, scapegoating immigrants and Muslims, or bankers and business people. Profiteers tempt and endeavor to hook us with compulsive addictions. Entertainment media distracts us from the things that bring enduring achievements and happiness. Think carefully about the habits of your life. You deserve to be happy, and America deserves your right choices. Thank you so much, and God bless you in the United States of America.